On tap, Alpha King. Hi, I'm James Knott, and this is your Better Beer Authority. Today we are doing a blind taste test of the flagship beer from one of the nation's top-rated breweries. Alpha King Pale Ale from Three Floyds Brewing in Munster, Indiana is 6.66% ABV and 66 IBUs. It is called an American Pale Ale by Three Floyds, but the higher alcohol content and bitterness levels make it similar to an IPA. It is brewed with American hops Centennial, Cascade, and Warrior, and the brewery says it has an intense citrus aroma and a crisp, hoppy finish. There's no bottling date on the bottle, but do your best to drink this one fresh. Those precious hops will fade quickly and it won't be the same beer when it gets older. Let the blind taste test begin. Ryan.
Yes.
What kind of beer are you getting out of this beer?
What kind of beer am I getting out of this beer? I'm getting a real noticeable hop aroma, hop flavor. It's maybe a little darker than I would maybe think for an IPA, but it's in that sort of family at least. But the hops that I'm getting are very appealing on the nose and very appealing on the palate.
Yeah, Joby, what style would you say that this is?
IPA.
IPA.
Gun to my head, I would definitely say this is an IPA. It's got the hops, IPA. It's got the hops presence in the taste is, like Kevin was saying, early, but
Kevin
not late.
hasn't spoken yet.
I know. We were talking off set though, off camera before we started, but
Okay.
it's early rather than late, which is nice. So it doesn't leave you thinking like you're sucking on a hop bead or anything, or a hop seed or whatever hops are.
Cone.
I'll go with that.
Okay, Kevin, how would you describe this beer to the people at home?
The head's dissipated a little bit, but appearance-wise, reddish brown. When we first came into the set, it had a fantastic head on it. I mean, the appearance looked like that ultimate beer.
Like a commercial.
Like a commercial. It was,
I would attribute that to the great pour.
It looked nice. You still have some lacing on there. When you get into the smell, you get some citrus. Good beer, and taste-wise, again, that you get some nice hop, citrusy flavors, well balanced. Not an overly complex beer, not boozy at all. So not 100% on where the alcohol's at on this. I definitely don't get a boozy, high alcohol presence. So I think the guys are right. It's got to be an IPA or pale ale. It's not in that imperial or double category. Very enjoyable. So I think this would be a beer that a lot of people could enjoy drinking. Again, but it's definitely well above just your standard pale ale IPA.
Okay.
If this was marketed as like a West Coast red ale or like a over hopped red ale, I could see that kind of fitting the description of what we have in front of us.
I agree with that.
Okay, Ryan, rating, big picture, have fun.
I'm at an 8. As you can see, I've been enjoying this beer.
It's rare that I see a beer that you don't enjoy.
It's not a race, but usually I'm empty before I wish I was. But it's a good beer. I like this beer quite a bit. And as someone who does appreciate a well-hopped beer and with good hop character throughout, this has it in the nose, it has it in the flavor, it has just enough in the finish to kind of keep you interested in it, and it brings it back. And like Kevin was saying, it's a good-looking beer, an excellent pour, nice clear beer, appealing color, and any beer lover can enjoy fantastic head.
Exactly. And so can Joby. And that is why, what is your rating?
James, I'm at a 9 with this beer.
Wow.
I really enjoy it.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Today, in my beer drinking,
Joby no tens. This is as high as he goes.
in my
It's like
beer
a 10 for anyone else.
yeah, pretty much. In my beer drinking life, I mean, this like where I'm at in my beer drinking life. This is exactly the beer I'm looking for these days.
Wow.
You know, it's got the right amount of hop bitterness for me. It doesn't, linger for 3 or 4 hours afterwards. It's got, appearance head for me. It's not going to make me drink a beer or not drink a beer. So for me, I'm really going for taste. Even aroma. I've seen aromas been off-putting and the beer tastes great. Beer smells good, beer doesn't taste great. For me, coming from a BMC background again, it's all about taste these days. And for me, this is a perfect tasting beer. So I'm not going to go with the 10, but this is one of my top beers. So I'm going to go with a 9.
Oh, okay. Kevin?
I'm at an 8. I've struggled. I'm between an 8 and a 9, so I'm going to stay at an 8, only because it's it's a difficult, I think, category to get into. Appearance is fantastic, and the mouthfeel is great too. Balanced carbonation. It's very smooth drinking. Nice, just a nice kind of execution in this style. Again, I think it's sometimes difficult in a certain style until you get into the imperial and get a little more complexity to it to get in that 9 or 10 category. But for what this is, it's fantastic. It's enjoyable. It's what beer should be.
Okay, well, let's take a look. The beer is Alpha King from the Three Floyds Brewing Company. I don't know if you've ever heard of this company, but they are one of the top-rated breweries in the world. And this is their 4th appearance on the show.
It's only a pale ale, huh?
Yeah, well, that's really the big discussion here is they call it an American Pale Ale. But if you read online, a lot of people will say, hey, this is really more like an IPA when you look at the stats. And, I mean, sure, it's darker than most IPAs, but it's 6.66% ABV and 66 IBUs. It's definitely an IPA territory. I mean, do any of you have a strong feeling like, is this too much to be called a pale ale, or should it be called an IPA?
It's kind of like the pale ale IPA love child.
Yeah. All right. Evolution has taken its hold.
I would agree with that. When I think like CBC Pale Ale, there's another hoppy pale ale style that would be in this. And I can think of some other IPAs where maybe this is hoppier than. So it's, without getting hung up on the category, I think it's a fantastic execution, well built, nice to drink beer. It's fun.
So, Joby, I mean, currently it's very hard for us to get this in Ohio. But if you started to see this on the shelf, I mean, is this going to move towards the top of your list?
Absolutely, it would. Yeah, I mean, without knowing anything about this beer, if I just saw it, the name might have thrown me off just because I kind of go out looking for IPAs now. And since this is just a pale ale, I think I might have overlooked this. But tasting it blind and, not really knowing the style, I probably would have, passed this over, but I'm glad I didn't, and I'm glad I did this blind because, again, I'm not, a beer rater or any means, so I can't tell style from anything, but for me, this is a hoppy beer, and it tastes good, and it's definitely in that ABV category that is all right to drink a couple of, so again, I'm sticking with my 9 rating.
All right, wrap this one up, Kevin, for us. Wrap it up.
Again, I think this is their flagship beer. I think it's a great style. They did a very good job at it. Three Floyds is known for a variety of hop-style beers, and I think this is one of the quintessential best ones that they do. It's great that it's available in a 6-pack, and if you're fortunate enough to be in their fairly limited distribution territory, you can generally find it for $10.
Well, Three Floyds Alpha King Pale Ale gets an 8.7 on the BBA scale. I'm James Knott. You're the guy watching. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comment section what you think of this beer. This is the Better Beer Authority.
Better Beer Authority. Better Beer Authority.